Shit just takes a long time to do, though.
Yeah. Yeah, it
Because I know
does.
blood tests are typically like a week or some shit.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be sure like how they would analyze like brain stuff and everything.
That would be something that I should be concerned about. But for the moment, I do want to let you know of my strange spiritual trip I've had. Uh, I'm
Dude, that
only
sounds dope as fuck.
I so I've been having a series of trips that's kind of just like been along with the same motif of just having like different parts of perspective going into my psyche and just choosing like one aspect of it to cling to for a little while and see how it would react if there was nothing else other than itself. And it's been fucking weird. So the very first one was getting so lost in thoughts of thinking of how other thoughts interact and how your senses are just thoughts that are coming in that while you can't acknowledge, you can literally ignore all of it and keep going, keep thinking of different things. And it kind of just ended up with my mind in a bubble, thinking endlessly of how it works.
That's some fuck shit.
Yes.
Hey, what's up, Kyler?
Hey, I got really high, man.
No, it's cool, dude. Believe
Uh,
me, it's very cool.
So do you just have like an endless supply of weed now?
I have a decent amount of money at the moment. And a very good friends. But, uh,
Nice.
Also, love you, buddy. Keep that in mind.
thank you.
We're gonna try to come down and see you as soon as we can.
Thanks.
Mhm. There's a couple of factors going into play though, because my work is now apparently a red zone.
It's pretty much so much fine.
That,
All my clique people finally came back, so
mm,
But no, but my work actually might shut down soon because of how many COVID cases we have.
you can only hope. But we're gonna get tested on Tuesday,
well, good
and
luck with
then
that.
might be up there Friday. Does that work for you?
Yeah. Oh, it would have to be for. Friday's actually not a great day for me. Uh,
Oh, you got something going on Friday?
yeah, yeah. I got a D&D game that I normally do from 3 o'clock till around 7.
Oh,
Gotcha.
yep, I got you, man. That's
What? What about Christmas Eve?
I don't think I have anything planned for Christmas Eve.
Like, yeah.
Well, we'll be there then. We're both off, guaranteed that day.
Oh, I'm
Nice.
not. I don't know
Oh.
yet. But I can always just call it off.
You will be.
Yes. No, it's really weird in my work at the moment.
Oh.
Because like we're losing everybody really quick, and also like my this Olive Garden in is actually considered a red store now, which means we have multiple COVID cases and it's climbing. And
Yours is probably going to close down
yeah, my
soon.
store's probably gonna close down soon, temporarily. So hopefully we're closed down all throughout Hell Week.
Yeah, like from what I've heard, at least my city is uh was the 15th worst in the country as of like a week or two ago.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And
Knoxville was literally 15th worst. We're heading up to like number like 3.
oh, lovely.
You wanna know why?
Because rednecks.
And nobody can stay the fuck home.
Yes. They gotta look up pretty mountains.
Yeah, they're not even coming looking in the mountains. They're coming in and just contaminating everything. It's just disturbing at this point, actually. But I'll leave you guys be, though. I just figured I'd pop in and say, hey, I heard you over the speakerphone. So,
Well, thank you for stopping in.
but we are going to come see you here real soon.
Awesome.
I guess Christmas Eve at this point.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So, but we're also going to make sure we're COVID free.
Yeah.
Well, do y'all have any Yule plans?
I was actually gonna think about setting up an altar at my own home and everything else, but I don't have anything like planned outside or anything like that.
Do you have that day off?
Hmm?
Do you have that day off?
Oh, you're wanting to help set up the altar?
Well, yeah.
Just to check it out.
I haven't had like a proper like Yule day.
That'd be really fun to do together, actually. Like instead of hanging out like at your parents' place, we could just kind of kidnap you for a day.
Yeah.
Or a few days. I mean, it's not like you're going anywhere.
True.
And you'll be away from your computer, but we have a computer here.
He's got a laptop. He can always just bring his laptop.
I don't actually have a laptop anymore. I've switched over to a desktop.
Oh, you actually got a full-on PC now.
Yes.
That's how you could play such amazing fucking games.
Yes.
How is Cyberpunk, by the way? Just
Oh god, I love it. It's fucking buggy as hell. It's basically the next Skyrim.
God damn it! It's a futuristic Skyrim. It's what I've always wanted in my life.
And you're gonna end up playing as a fucking stealth rage person that never gets caught because it's fucking Skyrim again. That's all it is. It's Skyrim.
That's fantastic. But yeah, I'll leave you guys be. We'll make some plans here in a minute. Well, here shortly, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, that might be fun though, cause yeah, I was just planning on doing something for Yule. Like typically, I try to. I mean, cause like during Halloween we had a feast, so I was thinking just like plan a nice meal and just set up a Yule style altar and it's kind of chill.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So,
Which is actually kind of nice to practice stuff now and not be judged.
it is.
Hmm.
So, speaking of the practice, I did want to tell you about my next spiritual trip, which which was a lot different than the first. So the first one was all about like the mind and just getting lost in it and like looking down at the different ideas, and how like basically the mind is its own entity. And then this next one was about the spirit, and well, there was like a wondrous hum as I left my body. It was a fucking out-of-body experience.
That sounds so dope.
And I kind of just, let myself drift, and I found this wonderful, like, harmony. I don't know what exactly it was, but it was just nice to sit and listen to, and kind of just, like, meld into a part of it.
It's pretty much, sounds similar to being on laughing gas.
I mean, that could be the sort of effect I'm having since, I do take a lot of different meds, and in addition to a little bit of the wacky tobacco,
Wacky tobacco.
could have
I
some
apologize.
unusual consequences like this. But
Wacky tobacco, though. Gosh.
so it was definitely an out of body experience, and like kind of going back to the first example of these ideas, just things that you want to bring along with you. That was like throwing away a sense of self. Just kind of being a part of the harmony for a little bit. And it was. It. It's an experience that's hard to put into words. Um.
But no, that to me almost sounds similar to laughing gas. So,
Well, nice.
well, I mean, that was like, at least my experience of it, like at the dentist. Like when I was a kid and everything else, I do remember that.
So, the third experience was about the body. And, like, around the second one, I kind of caught the theme that my brain was going for these. And, like, building up to it, I was like, what's the body going to be? Like, how can my perspective switch to just being that? And, it was a strange sense of just being, feeling absolutely every part of yourself, but no like will behind any movement or action or thought, just emptiness.
So it's like feeling like the exoskeleton, but none of the inside.
Yes.
Yes.
Um, and yeah, that's kind of like the major overarching bits for it. There's a lot of weird little bits and details for each of them, like with the experience I had with the spirit, if that is actually how things are, it kind of makes me like think about reincarnation. Of just like, if you die and become part of this harmony, then the harmony's probably where new bits of the harmony come from. Just the waves on the ocean.
I think that's pretty much like similar to how reincarnation's actually like described too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And, kind of just those aspects of myself, made me realize just how many times a person can split and fracture and still have parts of themselves out there. Because I wonder if the strange bits of my mind that's left my body for that, if that actually will go off whenever my body stops working.
That is a weird thing to think about. 'Cause I would think it'd be like similar to handing out a baton, pretty much. You know how like you hand it to somebody, but something else stays in return, though? Or like another being.
You see, I had a thought that I just lost. It's,
I mean, that's how I think like reincarnation, all that stuff would work out, though.
yeah. With how that worked out, it kind of made me, like, have an idea of if this is something that is like waves on the ocean, then what is the ocean in this? What is that harmony? At least for the part of the spirits.
I would think that water would just represent life in itself because almost everything is made out of water.
I mean, it's a good representation of it, but
Yeah.
it,
And also, there's a lot undiscovered, and
yeah.
things go missing in it too.
But it's hard to try to figure out how to say what you're meaning without just using representations of it.
Oh yes.
Because the iconography is awesome and all, but there's a very strange idea at work underneath that is...
Also, oceans are powered by the moon too.
Yeah, my whole thought with it is, what if that harmony is trying to figure out how things work, and in doing so, it's just kind of like sending out little parts of itself to probe at it, and that's just what life is just it trying to figure out how to interact with it.
Oh gosh, this sounds similar to a conversation I had with my dad once. No, about like well, my dad's a very big alien believer, pretty much. Which, don't deny that. I'm pretty sure there's life out there, but he sometimes likes to make jokes that we're like in this pretty much bottle and we're an experiment, like on some like second grade fucking alien shelf. You know, all I have to do is shake it, and the world will be over.
Well, for my thought process in it, and the bit of a trip I had, it seems a lot more of it's just like, it knows that it's a thing. Like, picture you're a kid, and across the floor you see a ball. You can make noises at the ball. Those noises will vibrate the molecules of a ball just a little bit, but the ball's not really going to notice, is it?
Nope.
The baby's going to have to figure out how to crawl over and play with it. And that's kind of what it felt like. It's still in the process of figuring out.
Hmm.
I'm sorry if I'm like tinfoil hat crazy at the moment.
Oh no, you're good, dude. Because I get like that way too sometimes, everything else depending on, especially edibles make me that way.
Hmm.
Like, I try to avoid overdoing it. Just because, like, if I take too much edible, it gives me anxiety. Why smoking doesn't give me anxiety, I notice. Like, it's all the positive effects why the edible can. It's a good effect if in small doses, high doses. Fuck, I wish I didn't do it.
So I've noticed that, like, normally I'll kind of get in my headspace a little bit, and sometimes I'll have a bit of an out-of-body experience, but it hasn't been until I've been sick that I've really just kind of, like, fully left the body.
Hmm. Just full on astral projecting.
I mean, like, so, getting just, like, a lot morbid for a second, if I do die, I'm gonna be a fucking, like, if I can, I'm gonna be a ghost, I'm gonna haunt everyone I know.
Oh, please do. No, I'm not kidding you, dude.
Oh no, that customer's being a dick to you, I'm gonna slash their fucking tires.
No, but I'm not kidding. I mean, just throw shit off my counters just to let me know you're there. I would enjoy the fuck out of it.
Nice. Try to talk to me with the tarot card deck. I understand how they work. It's fine.
You'd just be hanging around learning shit.
Yeah.
And heck, it'd be probably around learning the D&D games too.
Ghost, what do you do on your turn? Ghost rolls the dice. Just have little dice set out for like, this is my attacking dice, this is my spell dice.
Heck, I would roll an extra D100 just for you, though. Extra D100, just. Cause I don't know, like I've been playing 5th edition with all my coworkers, and we have the game on Tuesdays now, and it's fun.
Nice.
Cause we're actually playing in person and stuff. Cause I figured a lot of my coworkers don't have PCs, fucking plebs.
Oh.
But actually fun people to play with, though.
Yeah.
But I got to be the DM to 5th edition. I've never done that. I had to like unlearn so much shit from 2nd and 3.5. So much shit. I was so confused on how the skill point system worked in 5th edition to realize there was no skill points.
Yeah, that threw me off too.
I honestly started the first session without them really having any skill points. I just told them I was just gonna add the modifier in for now. Till I figured it out.
I mean, that's not a bad way to do it.
Yeah, no, it's all good. But I mean, I didn't realize that it was your modifier plus your proficiency based on background. I mean, it's really a simple system, but I'm just used to a much harder system.
Yeah, a group of people that's actually the Friday game I mentioned, that, one of the players has been wanting to run Pathfinder game.
Hmm.
Which is basically the 3.5 that we're used to, but a little bit more polished.
Yeah.
And, he hasn't ever DM'd before. Which, starting off on stuff like Pathfinder, like, that just kind of makes me think of me, because that's what I started off DMing on, which is such a hard system to start off in.
Yes.
Because in 5e, like, everything, like, oh, I need to look up stats for a fucking, like, mermaid scorpion? Yeah, somebody's probably done that online. I can look that up. But in a lot of other stuff, you just kind of gotta make it up, and you gotta make it up convincingly enough for the players. And there's only one system that, like, other than like 5e, I can like very consistently be like, hey, this is exactly what this creature's stats are. I figured this out in like 10 seconds. And that's Mutants and Masterminds, because that system I know like the back of my fucking hand.
Oh, dang. And see, that's one I haven't played yet either. But there's a couple I've been really wanting to play lately, like, oh man, you know they're making an Alien role-playing game, right? Well, they released it.
Oh, I haven't heard about that.
Yeah, it's based off Alien and Aliens. They have rule books on it and everything, and I really want to fucking play it.
Sounds cool.
It'd be pretty dope. I mean, I did look through it at Books A Million, though, just to kind of get the idea. I mean, I wouldn't buy it there because I know it'd be expensive, but at least I get to look at it. It seems pretty cool, actually. Like, I really like it. There's a couple things I do wonder creature-wise, though. Like, I do worry about the creature variety. But it seems like most of the enemies you would be fighting is pretty much, you know, like in the Alien universe, the government and everything else. Like, you'd be going against a lot of humanoids that are trying to weaponize the aliens. But then when you run into an alien, it's oh fucking shit.
Yeah. It kind of sounds like it's a build-up for like a Cthulhu game.
Mm-hmm. But just set in an alien universe, which I love, though.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, is actually a well-established universe, too. I'm just kind of curious how far they'll go with it, and like see if they'll make any other books. And
I mean, there's a lot of systems that only have one book.
well, I mean, they actually got two,
Oh,
like
nice.
2 or 3 books. Yeah, I mean, it's actually decently thick too. Like, it's actually got a good amount of content, but that's the only thing that I worry about is the monster variety. From what reading it. Because, like, they did, like, the classes really well and stuff like that. Like, you can be, like, you know, like the cyborgs that are on the ship and stuff like that help the crew. You could be one of those. You could be the pilot. You can be, like, the team leader, commander, pretty much.
Hmm.
You could be a medic. Like, there's a whole, like, I've got, like, the technical terms for all of them, but it's actually pretty cool.
That's nice.
hmm But pretty much the team you would essentially have on the ship, you could be. But I imagine with the limited amount of creatures that they have available and stuff like that, there won't be a whole lot of scenarios in one game or anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it's something that, like, from reading it, like, it can get dragged out.
I mean, a lot of games
And
you
it's
can
not-
end up just dragging out.
Yeah.
It's, There's even
This
a
is
few
like a-
aspects of stuff like D&D that... There's a few of them that's just like the, overkill campaigns, but you just... It's TPK modules, I mean. There's a few of them that are just like, don't tell your players that this is a TPK module. And that's going a little far.
hmm But yeah, but I feel like that's one that you wouldn't be able to play like a multi-year session or anything out of by any means, or even a multi-month. Like you could play like, I feel like you can play one campaign of it and cover pretty much almost everything that's available contact-wise in a few weeks.
And that's why Homebrew is wonderful.
Oh yes, I mean there's probably people probably would make cool homebrew aliens and shit.
Yeah.
And you could probably even mix some of Call of Cthulhu creatures into it. It actually fit. Just combine universes.
There's a universe that I've been putting quite a bit of effort into that I have also been writing down ideas for whenever I've gone really high. I actually have a long list of them. And also a long list of things that I've just written down for being high.
Also, I did not hear you very well because I like burped at the same time.
Oh. Well, I've been writing down a lot of notes from just when I've been high and had like weird ideas, and then I also have straight up just an idea thing for, just meant for D&D that I have been putting in for multiple months. And it is long.
Oh, that's. See, I'm afraid to do that kind of stuff yet because I don't know if anyone's going to show up in a few weeks or months. So I'm thinking in the short term right now for D&D, like, hey, at least what the next session going to be about, you know?
You see,
Because I'm doing that right now.
I've never been too concerned about finding players since I've spent a few years online and I have a decent web of people that I can be like, hey, would you be down for another game? And even without that, I do stuff on Roll20 so I can easily just find new people. I have I have strategies for finding people with applications.
Applications.
Yes, I have applications for games, and I go about them in certain ways of, like, making sure that they filled it out properly, their attitude about certain things, just how they get across information about themselves can tell you a lot about a person. I've also, like, a lot of my stuff has just kind of been, like, spent looking in on the human
Totally send me
psyche.
one of these applications one day and just see how well I do on it.
Um, okay, okay.
No,
I
I just
also,
wanted, I'm curious.
I do also go through, like, grading sessions with people of going over applications, using, like, a 1 through 10 system. We go through, talk about it, we each lock in our grades independently and then let each other know after we've already locked in. Add up the points, and normally once we get to, like, the top, like, like, if we're looking for, like, 2 people, we'll narrow it down to, like, 5 people and completely go over, like, every aspect of their application. I like to get really intense with it. I want to make sure that the people I'm, like, getting, I understand everything that they put into the application.
Oh, I got you. At least it narrows down some people, though.
Yeah. There's a few of them that, like, I'll put in, like, little tricks in it of just, like, in the description, I'll put a random, like, sentence in the middle of everything else of, like, hey, in your application, add in this keyword so that way I know that you've actually read through this.
I like
And
that. That's amazing.
if they don't put in the keyword, I just don't even, like, consider them.
Now you're giving it away, so now I'm just gonna ace this test.
Oh no, I have a lot of tricks. That's just one of my, like, easiest ones.
Cause I would be curious, cause I don't think I would nail it, but I think it'd be really funny to see how well I do on it. But honestly, a really smart idea though to make sure you get the right players online, because some people could just be either total dickbags.
I mean, this is something I've spent, like, 6 years thinking about how I've done. Because you get a lot of duds as you go along. And you start to see the patterns between what makes duds duds.
Just ignore.
But yeah, so a lot of my time recently has just kind of been philosophizing and thinking about losing my grip on reality, so that's always been fun.
Oh snap! You were kind of in and out for a second. So
Oh, sorry.
I'm hoping you didn't just hear me.
I can. You sound a little far away.
And I
But,
was like, I don't want to be rude and turn the chat off. I still had to go to the bathroom. And I was like, yep, I'm just going to turn on the sink over here.
yeah, I basically...
Alright. Need to stand up and pee. Come back to the bedroom.
So, I basically spent a lot of this time just philosophizing, because a sense of impending doom has kind of been upon me for a long time now.
Impending doom.
Yeah. I feel like philosophy and the independent study of it is something that is not that common.
Not anymore as much.
Oh.
I don't think people study it too much anymore.
But I can see why, like, a lot of people back in, like, the 60s and 50s, like, were just like, oh, hey, what are ethics? Let's give our patients, all these random, like, hallucinogenic drugs and see what happens.
Oh my. That sounds like a terrifying but fun time.
Yes, it was a wonderful time for the breaking of ethics.
And it's like a lot of them grew up to be philosophy writers, probably.
Oh, yeah, a lot of them have sticks up their asses, too. Not saying that I don't, but, like...
Oh no, a lot of philosophy writers do, for sure.
There's definitely a losing of self into arrogance.
I mean, just look at Anton LaVey, though. The dude that wrote the Satanic Bible. It's a philosophy book, but he kind of like makes fun of the church and then turns around and makes his own church and then makes money off of it. It's pretty much became exactly what he went to make fun of.
I mean, there's a level of philosophy that goes from the search of the self to the spreading of the ideas that I feel like a lot of philosophers fail at. They either get a little culty with it, which I think I'm kind of on the verge of happening with. I'm trying real hard not to get culty. It's getting a little culty. But then there's the ones that are also just so uptight about it because nobody can possibly understand those so complex ideas.
I definitely met those types. Because I remember there was some jackass, like when we were in high school, they had a philosophy club that they started.
Oh, I was actually part of that.
No, but there was one certain guy, but the thing is, since my memory is so good, I remember everything everybody says and everything I read.
Nice.
And it's not intentional, but I always had to saying I remember every single thing I read. So, he actually seems like a cool dude, but he tries a little bit hard, though. I forgot what his name was, but he had the long hair and glasses.
Win Moten.
Oh, yeah. But he would post poetry and stuff all the time, but he would post the same poems all the time and nobody would notice. Because he would post them like a year apart, but since I remember every single thing I fucking read, I'm like, It's somebody who tries to pretend to be deep, and I kind of get that sense.
I think I'm currently in the phase of... I got pretty deep, and I'm trying to figure out if I'm going to go deeper or if I'm going to try to figure out how to better explain things about it to people.
Why not both?
Because I am very bad at multitasking.
Same.
Whenever I have an idea, I stick on that idea. Which helps out in philosophy, because you just keep digging at a single thing until you try to figure out the truth of the universe. It's definitely gonna work someday, guys.
It's gonna work. But I'm someone who honestly never really bothered too much with that stuff, because I feel like there's not really anything to understand. Like, since we can't prove it in a scientific way, a lot of it, and my brain is more scientific more than it is like philosophical.
Well,
which there's nothing wrong with philosophy at all, because it actually goes into some really cool ideas, but I'm someone who is more scientific, though. Like, if it can't be measured in any way, I do not want any part of this because I obsess about it until I get an answer.
You see, there's just an aspect of it that's just the soul, the science, the like strange visions and beliefs that people have that I'm like a little desperate to understand, and I try to pick at it through psychology, and in a lot of behaviors, you can just kind of trace it back to evolutionary reasons. But then there's just a few, like, strange recurring aspects of cultures that come from different parts of the world. There's bits about the soul and what goes on in the afterlife and how exactly your body plays into it that, I've found on my own self-adventures that I really want to understand deeper.
You know what would be a fucking blast in my help, though?
What would that be?
A sensory deprivation chamber.
I kinda do that with my room as it is.
Oh no, but I mean for reals, though.
That would
Like
be
an
nice.
actual deprivation chamber. Like, just smoke a whole bunch of weed and go into one of those bastards. Like, dude, you're making shower inside a fucking... inside a sensory deprivation tank. That'd be amazing. So it's such a small space that the smoke just comes back in your lungs and you just fucking just get high
Yeah.
super quick.
I normally do that in my car, and, it's...
It's more amazing with hot water. If you have the shower on.
yeah.
Hottest water, steam. Yes. Yes. Yeah, I'm almost done with this beer. I don't know if I want another one.
There's also, like... It's kind of been happening for a while now, but I'm feeling a lot just more disconnected from my body. Like, major dissociation.
Disassociating.
Yeah, it's... It's weird
wonder,
just kind of sitting there and drifting off to somewhere else.
is it just general disassociation, or... Because I know
Yes.
sometimes disassociation just comes from anxiety and stuff too. Like if you're just feeling super fucking anxious at the moment.
It's more of just like a feeling of letting go and drifting off.
It kind of sounds oddly relaxing though.
It is, but then whenever you actually start to explore the depths of it, it gets a little weird. There's strange aspects of the mind that once you figure out how to explore it, you gotta try to figure out how deep you want to explore it. Uh,
Yep, and too deep and fuck, it's a total mind fuck.
Messing with your perspective of things can have weird results whenever you try to go back to doing normal things, because a change in perspective is not what a human mind is meant for while it's operating doing other things. Just misconceptions of what you see and hear and feel.
Is it almost like changing from different points of view?
Yes.
Like second to third person kind of deal and
Yes, but a lot more... It's like a fourth person point of view. Like, imagining yourself as... Imagine a big jar of beans. You're one bean in the jar. And you just figured out how to talk to the other beans. Oh, not even talk to the other beings. You just found out that they even is other beings. And you're
I'm a
trying to figure out how to...
can of beans.
Just trying to figure out how to interact with them. If they can even interact.
Oh, of course they wouldn't speak to me because they're not as sweet as me. Because I'm a jelly bean. I'm sorry.
You're good.
Messing up all this experiments. Because I literally just imagine I'm just this fucking rainbow-colored jelly bean. Like, with sugar all over everything. Like a Sour Patch Kid jelly bean. And a can of bush beans.
There's also... I've been having, like... Before the whole mind, body, and spirit trips, I had, like, strange pataphysical experiences. The experience of the warping of fiction to reality, and how layers of fiction work. So,
Layers of fiction.
yeah. So, imagine yourself sitting there as you are, doing what you do. Now, imagine yourself suddenly transported to a beach. How they would react, how that would work out. Now imagine yourself imagining someone else that, the person that, that person is one that you are now imagining having something happen to them, interacting with layers of fiction below yourself. Layers of imagination within fiction. And if it goes down that far, if you can keep going down through the layers and keep adding in layers of narrative framing devices that can occur in any way, how do you know that whenever you get to the top of the framing device that that's really the end?
No, you wouldn't know. You would never know. There's some kind of beautiful about not knowing, though.
But there's also some beauty in exploring that, in exploring the ideas of how you react with your imagination, and how your imagination can react to you. Having versions of yourself that have basically a godlike figure that can do anything for them. And there keeps just being a splitting of dimensions, a splitting of layers of imagination that you can imagine so many different forms of yourself that you can't interact with them all.
It's kind of scary to think that there might be an out. Like, if there is another layer of myself, how terrifying that one would be.
Well, I mean, it's just yourself, imagining yourself. But the real question is if it's yourself that's imagining yourself, or if it's someone else. And at that point, does imagination really serve as anything other than a framing device, if everything does have a layer of reality to it?
I don't know. Like, sometimes, like when I do get super stoned, I do feel like there's multiple different versions of myself, but it's kind of going into the whole reincarnation idea. Like, I feel like there's actually multiple souls in one body, and I'm trying to make all of them happy so each one can go to nirvana, pretty much.
That was kind of what I was going on about with when I had that sense of self, looking down at yourself and like figuring out just how many parts of yourself there are that your body is trying to constantly keep up with all the needs of.
Because sometimes it does feel like I got multiple people in my body and I have to make each one of these people happy in order to function. And hopefully, when pass on, you made someone happy enough to go pass on themselves.
Well, my theory is there are even more of them that are just those needs and urges that you have, just like a bit of appetite, that animalistic need for hunger, air, uh, anything. There's just so many layers of humanity that you surround yourself with, but that's not the sense of self. They are just different ideas and concepts that you hold so close to yourself that the mind has fully integrated it and believes that it's a part of itself. That's a part of the mind, body, and spirit of just being able to separate the three.
Well, it's kind of like a similar idea with like the monks that used to starve themselves and stuff. It's like some of them like would be alive even like 40 fucking days or some shit without eating, and they'd be meditating and trying to separate themselves. And who
And,
knows how long some of them have been without food? That might not even be the record.
and it does really feel that without a forced change of perspective, like, when I'm not inebriated anyway, I'm getting closer to the idea of being able to change my perspective at will, but it's still like, again, that metaphor of the baby trying to crawl to the ball.
It's
It,
still that metaphor.
yeah, it's still just something new trying to learn
And it's more than
itself.
just trying to play with it either. It's you literally have to, in
You
order to get a full understanding, you would have to know the weight of this ball. You would have to know what color it is.
and you would have to know that it's even a ball in the first place. To your toddler eyes, baby eyes, all you see is something, some color, some blob. You don't even know if it's a thing. You just get that sensation
You
of
can tell from
seeing
the
it.
fucking circle or sphere.
It could just be an illusion and it's actually orange. It's an orange ball instead of a red one.
Or it could be just the lighting too. You never know.
There's
Like the picture, man. Blue dress, gold dress. Red ball, orange ball.
it's
You just saw it in the
trying,
darker light.
it's just trying to fully mesh the idea of a new perspective like this. Some strange, almost spiritual thing that um you feel like you can separate yourself into. With the idea of the physical body. Because up until this series of fairly religious experiences, I'm somebody that's pretty, like, scientific. I strove to figure out how, like, theoretical physics would work, because that's always been something that's interested me the most, is the theoretical bits. And also the more strange side of physics. But, there's just so much that's hard to understand, and even figuring out what there is to understand. Whenever I'm not in this strange state of mind. Like, I've noticed that it is really hard to get back into it because uh, it feels like trying to walk without legs.
I don't know. I've seen people walk without legs before. We're working at my work once.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's possible, but it's gonna be fucking hard to figure out.
Oh no shit, that's someone like in a wheelchair come to my work and want a seat in the restaurant and everything else. And I automatically assume people in a wheelchair want a table. Because it's easier for them to just roll up to and everything else. Once I sat him to the table, I was like, oh no, can I have the booth over there? He's like, oh sure, why not, dude? I'll roll you up to it. He's like, oh no, it's good. He starts walking on his fucking legs, like handstanding all the way, and he got himself in the booth.
Hmm.
Like, this guy had no legs, and he just fucking popped himself in the booth. Like, I was trying not to laugh, but it was actually pretty damn amazing, though. It was really impressive upper body strength.
Yeah. But also, there's... Sorry, I have to go back a few bits because it's a little hard to keep everything completely straight. Back with the whole idea of the mind, going back to that aspect of the journeys. Kind of felt like there was something else out there that I was able to interact with. But it was much like, it was willing to pay the attention, and it was interested in conversation, but it was just very hard to keep that state of mind far enough away to have that. But couldn't really communicate with it. That was a little bit more of the weirdo side of it. I'm not sure if what that was is another aspect of the human psyche. It's going to be a little bit before I think I'll get that far away again.
I had some really trippy dreams about, like, how every, like, individual... Like, this kind of goes into, like, death and stuff a little bit, but... How, like, every person has their own heaven, hell, I guess, kind of deal, which I don't believe in, but... It kind of went into that whole idea of, like, everybody's afterlife is unique in their own. But it's kind of weird, because I had a dream, like, I did not know I was dead once, I was just kind of living everyday life, but then things were just going unusually fucking well for me. So I started to question it, and then realized that, oh, this was not fucking true. And it's like I just pretty much shedded the wallpaper out and realized that I was in a room surrounded by other people that were in their own realities.
Now, you see, I kind of think that that's a end state. A layer of just self-dissociation enough to form your own fully formed aspect of reality, completely self-sufficient from everything else. That's an aspect of it that I've thought about that might be a possible end state, and it's a scary idea.
Mm. But yeah, but that was a crazy dream, though, because I remember, like, as soon as I pretty much essentially tore down the wallpaper and everything else, even though it wasn't really wallpaper, but there was a whole thing to do to get out of it. I completely forgot about. But I was like, no, everything is going way too well, none of this is real. And then it's like, when I came back to and everything, the room filled with people. And all those people are pretty much sleeping in their own dream, like almost in a cocoons kind of deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's happened to escape by. I didn't realize, oh, this fucking sucks.
So, there's a story of a demon that convinced humans that it was a god, and formed a false reality that kept so many of them trapped within, And that is actually a part of the journey that my mind keeps wandering to, is the idea of minds trapped within this false reality. And that is... I need to get a toad foil hat at some point, like...
Same. Just a big pointy one.
We could have a craft day for it.
You just have the aluminum hats. I need the mine to be shaped like a witch hat, though. An aluminum witch hat.
I could have like one of those fancy evening hats that has like the big feather.
I feel like you could rock a flapper girl hat. Like, have the, like, cut out the aluminum foil to where it looks like big flamboyant fucking feathers.
Definitely.
It would be absolutely beautiful.
But that's actually something that I was thinking of, is the aspects of, like, there's various religions that use like different herbs, ingredients, various things within their rituals, and my thoughts about it has been how they would interact with these three different states of being. And if they would only interact with the body. That's a...
I already know how Christians will react. Freak out, think it's the end times, make fun of the atheists, stand out of the lawn, and raise up their arms like lawn ornaments. Until they get ascended. If they do. Sounds horrible, but kind of true though. I spent a lot of terrible ones.
I have a question for you. If
Sure.
you could have absolute power over all reality, you could do anything you would want, but the only catch is you had to be closed off from everyone else that is on the same level as you. You would have to never see anyone that you could see, that you would know at the moment. You could make new versions of them, sure, but you would be off in your own bubble and they would be elsewhere. Would you do that?
Nope. Already a big nope. Because I don't know, like, I don't find, like, false substitutions to be actions, you know, for human interaction.
You see, that it's a question that, like, my answer for it has become a lot more iffy, because my relation with the reality at the moment is not the best.
I don't know, but I mean, I still get a kick, like, out of gaming and stuff with people online, though. Like, I still feel, like, pretty much just as fulfilled, though, too. Just as if I was talking to people in the room.
Absolutely, but, if you... like, if it was possible to go deep enough to understand enough that you could fundamentally change something, fundamentally figure out what it means to leave the body. Like, it's something that I'm thinking of. It's trying to figure out exactly, like, how deep everything goes.
Pretty far. But
Yeah.
what you just described was similar to, like, a Mira Nikki's scenario.
What's
or Mirai
that?
Nikki. It's an anime. That was out in the 2000s, early 2010s at most. But no, that's pretty much like what you described was pretty much similar to the same scenario. Like, all these people fought to become God. The one kid that didn't want to become God became God, actually.
Oh, that was,
And he wanted-
that's Future
Yeah.
Diary, isn't it?
Yep, it's just a Japanese name for it.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yep.
Oh,
Oh yeah. But that's what it kind of reminds me of, like how he winded up in this area by himself pretty much, but he's able to pretty much control everything.
yeah. And that kind of idea of it does go along with, like, a godhead idea of, like, instead of going off to your own and creating it, taking over the one above you. Which is an interesting idea, but fundamentally, I don't know where to start. So, exploring into the depths of the soul is something I gotta keep doing there.
Hmm.
And also, yes, I fully acknowledge how crazy I sound.
Oh no, you're good, dude. Honestly, if I was a god, though, like it would depend though, like on the being separated from people thing. Would I be allowed contact with animals?
Like, you could. The basis for it is. Think of you creating a D&D world. You can be a god, you can directly communicate with any creature within it. You can do any act of god that you would think. If you wanted to split the planet in half so that way they could see each other in the sky, you could do that and have no negative consequences for them. You can do absolutely anything as long as it's within that narrative. But you're restricted from journeying off. Which kind of makes me think if that's an option, like, if there is a god, if that's something that he had to come to terms with, and all reality is a plaything that's been left for him to communicate with other people.
Hmm. I've always told myself that if there was actually a god, I would punch him in the face.
I kind of. If there is a god, I kind of want to go with a more deist theory of. There's other gods, and he's just more interested in talking to them than to us.
Thinking about his best buddies.
Yeah.
Also, given like some of the actions that are happening lately too, though, it's like I wouldn't blame any deity for what is happening.
I mean,
Because thinking if I was a deity myself, I would probably be more about saving the plants and the animals and the earth versus the people.
it could be a whole situation of just, what if before I called you, I had created this world in my mind, and I kind of just left it while I came to this conversation. And I'm talking to you. And it just keeps on going.
It never ends. If you were a deity, what would your name be?
Oh. Probably Altet.
Altex?
Altet.
Okay.
Altet.
Oh, okay. Altet.
Ew. What would yours be? Ow, my hands.
That motherfucker.
That motherfucker.
Because I feel like that's what most people refer to me as anyway. Because, like I said, I'd probably be all about the plants and the animals, everything else, and just, like, Like, if I was a deity, I probably would have caused the coronavirus just to control human population. I mean, that's if I had the option, if I was never concerned with humans in the first place.
You see, my concern is more of a, what if the god just hasn't really figured out how to interact with his creation yet?
I'm sorry, you're cutting in and out a little bit.
Oh, so what if the god hasn't figured out how to interact with his creation? What if it's like a comic book author that is writing a story and only believes that it's a story? Oh,
Dude.
that's kind of like the pataphysical bit that I'm getting in with it, of just us being a part of someone's creation, but in doing so, we can go on and have creations of our own.
That'd be pretty dope.
Yeah.
So, like, imagine if there was a deity and he's like, well, I created you guys, but I have no idea how to interact with any of you. Like, he's playing a very terrible game of Sims, but he can't control billions of Sims at the same fucking time.
It's like, oh, what does this F key do? And it just, like, gives a random person a heart attack, and he doesn't know that.
A random person.
He's just, like, spamming the F key because a guide online told him that it actually cures cancer, but it just...
Real fast.
Huh?
Oh, sorry. It's storming like a motherfucker, and I'm just making sure I'm not hearing anything outside.
Oh. It was storming pretty bad over here just a bit ago.
Yeah. But we have a cat that wants to be outdoors, so I'm just making sure that nothing's out here, because I thought I heard something for a second, but...
Yeah.
Okay, I don't think there's anything out there, but... Because I wasn't sure, it sounded like something, like, fell over outside, like, really heavy. But yeah, I'm getting a little bit worried about that poor cat, though. Like, he's too afraid to come inside and everything else, and he's like, has an injury right now, but is still too afraid to be inside.
Oh.
Like, he got into a cat fight, and he's got, like, a massive... Like, he's got a deep claw mark in his paw. So he's limping and stuff, and I'm honestly really worried about that. Like, I've been cleaning it up and everything else, I just have to hope that no predators come until it's healed. And I'm not kidding, like, if I take that cat inside, he'll start to, like, have a panic attack and freak out and shit.
Oh, that sucks.
And I don't really necessarily want to torture him, I kind of still want to leave it up to him.
Yeah.
But I did make sure to disinfect the wounds.
That's good.
Yeah. Because it looks like it's going to get better. It's just one mark in the paw, but I just hope that with his limping, it won't make him be caught by anything.
Yeah.
And not kidding, I've been waking up like every couple of hours while sleeping to make sure he's okay. And still sleeping on the porch. It's been giving me massive anxiety.
When was the last time you saw him?
I saw him a couple of hours ago.
Okay.
He's been sleeping mostly on my parents' porch and everything.
Yeah. He probably just found another safe place to hide to wait out the rain.
Yeah, because that's where he is. I bet he's on the porch. Because since my dad sleeps on the chair in the living room, pretty much, like, if anything ever happened, he would hear it, though.
Yeah.
But it's just we've been having just random people's animals just fucking wander in our yard, and somebody else's cat just whooped our cat's ass. Like, I'm not kidding. I actually plan on shooting that cat if I see it.
So, a thing that I learned when I was like in middle school, and we had random animals that would terrorize our pets. BB gun. Get a BB gun. Shoot a fucking cat that's like terrorizing yours. It'll not come back, and it will not actually be homed. Might leave a bruise, but like
Oh yeah.
better than
No,
killing it.
like, yo, you don't understand. Like my dad's been going after this cat and shooting BB guns at it. It still comes here, and it literally put a wound deep enough in my cat to possibly cause an infection, and he's limping and hurt really bad.
So that's where the wound came from.
Yeah. Like, no, he's got, like, a bite mark on his head, and... No, this cat absolutely whooped his ass.
Might need to talk to the neighbor about keeping the cat in.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know which neighbor it came from, though. Like, I do see it come up and down the street, though. But that's the thing, though. It's just, I'm gonna have to just do something about it, and I mean, like, because I'm not necessarily against the idea of harming something if it's gonna harm my own animals.
But it's also always better to figure out a way to do it safely,
Yeah.
scaring it off.
It is. Because I've even thought it, because my dad has even thought about, like, setting the traps, but realized it'd be a bad idea. Because then our cats would get stuck in it, and also possums, raccoons.
Yeah.
It's just there's one certain cat that's just a major inconvenience. And also people's dogs show up in our yard too. Luckily they don't seem to go after a cat, so I'm not too concerned about the dogs.
So, whenever it's just that cat, have you been able to, like, get close enough to, like, pet it or something?
No, it literally runs from us on site. So so we can scare him just by walking off on our porch if a cat fight breaks out.
Okay.
But that's the thing though, because it knows we all want to kick his ass.
Yeah. I was gonna say, if you were able to, like, pin a note to its collar or something, that would
It's
be...
not no,
Oh.
in this area. Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's
It's hard
way
to-
too many things
it's
that
hard
could
to
get
catch
a
it.
collar could get caught on out there, isn't there?
Yeah. Because even I'm against the idea of putting collars on outdoor cats, just because they strangle themselves and stuff on weird shit.
Yeah.
Because even my mom told me that too. Like, she said it happened to her when she was a kid. She had a cat on a collar. And it literally hanged itself and died on a chain link fence.
Oh. Yeah, my dogs, Murphy goes out with hikes with Joe, but, like, Milo, we chill outside sometimes, but he's an inside dog, and I keep him on a leash because he likes to run off sometimes. But any situation with outside animals, there's an extra level of consideration with that.
Yeah. Because, I mean, it's like, as much as I wouldn't want to hurt another person's animal or anything, it's, if I had to pick between that cat or my cat, it would have to be my cat.
Yeah.
And this ain't the first time this cat came and fucked up one of our animals. Just utterly fucked him up. And our cats are just minding their own business in our own yard.
You could always throw cucumbers at it.
Oh, I wish that would work. I would definitely try that if I could.
Just get a lot of
Set
cucumbers.
cucumbers random and line the yard with them. The whole perimeter.
Keeps your cats in and the other cats out.
That would be amazing if that did work that way. And I got a creek on one side too, so I have to make sure that I have sea cucumbers. I have to have water cucumbers. And we accidentally pickled them in my creek.
Nice.
which would probably just smell like dead crawfish, but it would taste okay.
Well,
Which I'm kind of surprised with how in the middle of nowhere we are for the lack of wildlife I see. Like, I literally saw more wildlife out in the open near Damon's dad's place than I ever have here, and we're pretty much in the middle of the jungle. Like, there's no bears, not seen a single bear. It's been really weird.
so are they still at the place that was like in that cabinish area that you guys moved to after the fire?
Oh no, we all moved from that.
Okay.
Because no, my parents bought two lots of property, and originally the other side was my sister's because she was struggling at the moment. And then she wanted to move to Florida. She's in Florida now
Oh, I mean,
with her baby daddy's dad and.
yeah, I mean, as much as I hate
Yeah.
to say it, with how many bad decisions she makes, it's kind of surprising she didn't end up in Florida sooner. Oh,
Oh my gosh, it's fucking true.
I love her, but hmm.
But no, she moved to Florida with her baby daddy's dad.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that whole Jerry Springer show shit.
Yeah, my own family has had some issues, which is a chunk of the reason why this introspective state has occurred.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh. So you know how my sister basically has no personality other than being the spouse of whoever she's with?
my sister's exactly the fucking same way.
Yeah, and the guy that she's with is incredibly stupid.
Oh,
And they have a kid together, and I think that they got married after I think they knew each other for 3 months?
yeah, I did remember that. Because I remember your family being all like, what the fuck? You've only known this
Yeah.
person for like 3 months or some shit.
Like, I defended her decision a little bit because my mom had also moved in with a guy that she never went on a date with before. So I was like,
Yeah.
hey, you guys can't really judge her whenever you've done this.
Yeah. And it's also still, she's a grown-ass adult too, so.
Yeah, I just wish that she had smarter choices.
It's like I wish the same for Ivy too, to have smarter choices. But I'm not. But the thing is, I've also been still supportive though, instead of being a dick, because everyone else is already being a dick about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
I-
everyone else in my family is already being a dick to her about decisions, and I'm just be like, hey, do what you want. I mean, it's your fucking life.
I haven't really talked to my sister that much. I did message her the other day for the first time in about 2 or 3 years.
But also, my parents don't know this. Well, my mom doesn't know this really. But if you support Ivy in her decisions, she's actually more likely to make better decisions. Like, she's more likely to do something if people don't approve of it.
Hey, that sounds like my
So
sister too.
So I'm trying to be super supportive so that she makes the right decisions.
Yeah.
But my mom's kind of turning around and insulting her and everything else. Which, my mom is the person that she's pretty much trying to, not mentally get back at, but you know what I mean? Just like, I'm not gonna listen to you because, eh.
Yeah,
But meanwhile, my dad is the voice of reason.
Your dad has always been pretty chill.
Yeah, no, he definitely is still the voice of reason, even in all this. He's still like, yeah, I mean, she's an adult, we can't really say anything, we should not be a dick because we still want her to visit for holidays and stuff. And then, meanwhile, mom's just being a dick. being a dick. Stop being a dick, please.
I think it might be time to head to bed.
Oh, I got you, man.
I just
I think
wanted
that
to
is-
fill you in on the insanity I've been faced with. And
All that's it.
huh?
All that stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to call it insanity, because it's not really insanity, it's kind of more of a...
There's a few parts
I
of
was
it
thinking-
that's definitely insane, like the whole
I was saying it just in
Convers-
life in general, though, not just the dreams and everything. It's just, everything has been insane on both ends. Like,
yeah.
even on my end, too. Just mentally and physically.
But definitely
Yeah, I'm
the
stressed as shit.
I've definitely had some weird conversations with aspects of myself and possibly other things that have made me question my sanity a bit.
Oh, no, I love listening. Because honestly, I have similar faults like that a lot of times.
I feel like if I was in a Call of Cthulhu game, I would have zeroed out my sanity by now. Oh, I'm really close to it.
Or very close. I don't know, I mean, you can always gain some awesome Eldritch powers, though.
There is always that. I just have to keep exploring deeper, right?
Yep, gotta keep exploring deeper, man. It's like, yeah, you can risk your sanity, but then it's like you can also have this awesome fucking Eldritch shit. And just have a deeper understanding of everything, life, and the universe.
I mean, now is kind of the best time for me to deal with being sick, as along with disability.
Mm.
So,
So you do have disability and all that stuff, which is still pretty cool.
yeah.
My mom just finally got hers.
Ah,
Yeah, hers took a really long time to get.
mine did
But-
too. I thankfully got back pay, but it took them like another 6 months before I got it after being approved.
Oh, but she tried for like 2 years. Like pretty much after the coma, she tried to file for it.
Ah,
Yeah, so hers took like a really long time, but she got like 15 grand all simultaneously.
I think I tried through 6 months to a year, and then I finally hired a lawyer just to get it done.
Oh, I got you. See, she didn't hire lawyers, so I think she had to wait longer because of that reason.
Yeah, no, and I also got on my lawyer's case a few times because I'm not the person that I'll just talk to them and just leave it be. I called him twice a week until it got done.
Damn. So, just after us, like, hey, I need this. Hey, what's
Hey,
up?
I'm just checking in again. Oh yeah, it's
check-
me, just checking in.
How's my case doing? That reminds me, I still have this paper from the wildfires and stuff too. Because, okay, so there's this whole thing with everybody that lost their homes and everything else, and there's just supposed to be this lawyer that was supposed to, file for everybody and fight for them, and I never heard back from that. I just realized that.
Hmm.
To get a certain percentage of the money, and...
Might be something worth looking into.
Nah, it's probably over by now. Honestly, probably Gallenberg bought him out or something. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's a very rough place.
I mean,
It's a...
the question is
very-
where isn't. Hey, do you want to move? So, I have kept having these thoughts of just moving out to the middle of nowhere, using solar power to get electricity, stealing internet, living out in the middle of the woods with a place that I make that just growing potatoes or some shit.
I would love potatoes. That sounds like the dream, to be honest. Just go out fucking. As long as I have internet, I'll be happy.
Yep.
If I'm in the middle of nowhere. Just internet and fucking potatoes.
Internet, electricity, and food, and I'm good. And water.
Especially potatoes, because they're the best, and you can make anything out of them.
And also, in a state that you could grow cannabis. Well,
why can't things be simple?
do you work tomorrow? Or today? Monday?
I'm actually off tomorrow and Tuesday, but Tuesday's my D&D game.
Ah. Tuesday I also have a game.
Mm-hmm.
So, we'll have to talk later then.
Yes, would have to.
It
I could
has...
probably chat up while I'm working on some of my D&D campaign stuff.
Yeah.
Just again, I just kind of wing it. Like, I just kind of prepare it the day or two before so I don't feel overly pressured. Because I'm somebody who feels overly pressured if I focus too much into something, but I get a lot more done, like, if I just do it a day or two ahead of time.
So,
versus trying to think about the entire week.
For the last one-shot I ran, I had overly designed it to where the players had experienced a fifth of the total content, but still ended up with a experience that they all ended up loving. I should send it to you. It is actually a B-roll movie that I made.
See, that's pretty cool, though.
Yeah.
But yeah, I scared the shit out of my players on the first session, though. That was great. Because, I mean, like, they were all starting at level 1, so I was trying to make it kind of like a creative in a way that it was, like, I didn't want to just throw goblins or anything like that, and I was like, how do I take a base-ass easy enemy and make it hard for their level? Oh, I got it. Make tunnels small enough to where that they're at shoulder to shoulder so they have negatives on hitting and movement speed. And just have fucking rats crawl through the tunnels and try and drag them to the rat nests.
That sounds interesting.
Oh no, it's great. Like, they had to do an investigation and everything else with them. At a graveyard with a priest and everything else.
You see, I've always had a lot of fun with rat enemies at, like, level 4, because you can... There's a point that you can just go massive with it. You can have a rat fight encounter that is literally swarms upon swarms of just rats, all trying to just devour their opponent's whole.
Yes. And that's what's happening here, though, because this town, this village that they're in right now, like, it's getting, like, absolutely overrun by rats. And it's starting off in the graveyard, and, like, how the investigation started with is one of the grave tenders disappeared, and this has never happened before, and upon the investigation they realized the body disappeared, and then they looked, and they decided to investigate by digging up a couple graves and figure out that the bodies were disappearing, but nothing was being dug from above. So rats were burrowing and again the bodies and dragging them into their nest.
Interesting. Something I ended up doing with it was they ended up in a town where it was growing to be a bigger issue. Like, there were houses that were just overrun with the rats, and they ended up finding an underground network of tunnels that the rats made through larger creatures that all definitely rats, but huge-sized things that just tower over people that burrow through, have spawn that literally crawl out from their fur, forming into their own beings. And it's just a hive queen kind of deal.
Oh, see, that'd be pretty cool. Because, see, like, in my village, it's kind of starting to be a really bad problem. Like, this is the first time it's targeted a living human enemy, a person. Well, typically, the group of rats was only targeting only dead bodies in the meantime, but now they're starting to get big enough to get living humans. I felt that'd be good for a good level 1, hey, here's something to do.
Hmm.
And it got my players an understanding of negatives and how small spaces can affect your combat. It just added a little level of difficulty. Well, I'm also thinking about making were rats and stuff like that, and having them have like cannibalistic tendencies. I thought that'd be really cool.
Yeah.
Of course,
But
that's not going to happen in this campaign, but well, not in this campaign, but in this mission.
so I sent you a video. I strongly recommend you check it out when you can. It is literally the length of a whole movie, and I tried my best to play it up in there, as that. Hope you enjoy, cause I spent a long time editing it. Uh,
I'll definitely have to check it out tomorrow when I'm awake. Because, yeah, it's almost my bedtime and stuff,
Yep.
too.
It is definitely the time that we should head off, and I want to thank you again for listening to the chaos.
Well, thanks, man. I do appreciate it. And also, I'm so cool with listening to chaos.
I'm sure I'll have more for you before too long. Because as I said, even without the wacky tobacco, I have been kind of just drifting. So, well, we'll see where that goes. But till then, later.